Europe, a continent of extraordinary diversity, complex histories and vibrant cultures. From the towering peaks of the Alps to the bustling capitals like London, Paris and Rome, Europe has shaped and been shaped by countless historical forces. Today we're diving into the untold story of Europe, country by country, to see how they developed, conflicted and evolved over centuries. Let's embark on a journey through the ages. Our story begins in ancient Greece, the cradle of Western civilization. Ancient Greece wasn't one united country, but a collection of city-states like Athens and Sparta. Greek culture laid the foundation for Western philosophy, science, and democracy. Meanwhile, in the Italian peninsula, the city of Rome was growing into an empire that would come to dominate much of Europe. The Roman Empire influenced architecture, engineering, and governance. Latin, their language, remains the root of many European languages today. After the fall of Rome in 476 AD, the once mighty empire crumbled, leaving a power vacuum across Europe. Europe entered what's known as the Middle Ages, a period marked by the fragmentation of territories and the rise of local lords. Feudalism took hold, with kingdoms and principalities emerging throughout the continent. Lords and vassals formed intricate networks of loyalty and protection, creating a patchwork of allegiances. France, Germany and England became powerful medieval states, often at war with each other. These conflicts were driven by territorial ambitions, dynastic disputes, and the quest for dominance. The church wielded immense influence, even more powerful than kings in some cases. Monasteries and cathedrals became centers of learning and culture, preserving knowledge through turbulent times. The Crusades began during this period, with European knights fighting in the Holy Land. These religious wars aimed to reclaim Jerusalem and other sacred sites from Muslim control, leaving a lasting impact on both Europe and the Middle East. It was a time of knights, castles, and epic battles. Chivalry and honor were the ideals, though the reality was often brutal and harsh. The legacy of this era can still be seen in the castles that dot the European landscape, and the stories of heroism and treachery that continue to captivate our imaginations. The Renaissance in the 14th century was a rebirth of knowledge and culture, originating in Italy and spreading across Europe. Think Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo and Shakespeare, artists and thinkers who redefined creativity and innovation. This was also the age of exploration. Spain and Portugal led expeditions to the New World, Africa and Asia, bringing wealth back to Europe, but also kick-starting centuries of colonization and global trade. European countries would soon become empires, expanding their power worldwide. Fast forward to the 18th century, the Enlightenment brought new ideas about rights, democracy and science. Inspired by these ideas, revolutions erupted. The French Revolution in 1789 reshaped France and terrified monarchies across Europe. Soon, Napoleon rose to power, spreading revolutionary ideas even further. During this time, modern nation-states were being built. Germany and Italy unified in the 19th century. While the British Empire was reaching its height, industrialization transformed Europe, bringing both progress and hardship. The 20th century was marked by two devastating world wars. These conflicts reshaped the political, social, and economic landscapes of the entire world. The first of these, World War I, began in 1914 and lasted until 1918, involving many of the world's great powers. World War I shattered the old empires, Austria-Hungary, Ottoman, and Tsarist Russia. The war led to significant changes in national boundaries and the rise of new nations. The Treaty of Versailles, which ended the war, imposed heavy reparations and territorial losses on Germany, sowing the seeds for future conflict. World War II, even more destructive, erupted in 1939 and lasted until 1945. It involved even more countries and resulted in unprecedented destruction and loss of life. The war ended with Europe divided between East and West during the Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension between the Soviet Union and the Western Bloc. But from the ashes of war, a new Europe emerged. The Marshall Plan, initiated by the United States, provided aid for the reconstruction of war-torn European economies. This period saw significant rebuilding efforts, with cities and infrastructure being restored and modernized. Western European countries joined together to create the European Union, seeking peace and economic cooperation. The EU aimed to prevent future conflicts by fostering economic interdependence and political collaboration among its member states. This union has grown over the decades, becoming a major political and economic entity. Eastern Europe threw off Soviet control in the 1990s following a series of revolutions and protests that led to the collapse of communist regimes. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 symbolized the end of the Cold War and the beginning of a new era of freedom and democracy in Eastern Europe, leading to a reunified continent. The expansion of the European Union to include many Eastern European countries has furthered the goal of a united and peaceful Europe. Today, the EU continues to work towards greater integration and cooperation, promoting stability and prosperity across the continent. Today, Europe is one of the most influential continents in global politics, culture, and economy. But it faces challenges like political division, economic inequality, and immigration. The EU stands as a symbol of unity, yet there's still tension as countries seek to balance national identity with collective goals. Europe's story is a tapestry woven from countless wars, innovations, alliances, and revolutions. From the ancient empires of Rome and Greece to the medieval kingdoms and the Renaissance, every era has left its mark. The continent has been a stage for some of the most significant events in human history, shaping the world as we know it today. Each country has its own unique history, but together they've created a continent that inspires the world. The architectural marvels, the cultural festivals, and the diverse traditions all tell stories of resilience and creativity. From the Eiffel Tower in France to the Colosseum in Italy, these landmarks are not just tourist attractions, they are symbols of a rich and varied past. So next time you walk down a historic street in Europe, remember the centuries of history that paved the way. Imagine the footsteps of those who walked before you, artists, thinkers, revolutionaries, and ordinary people who lived through extraordinary times. Each cobblestone has a story to tell, each building a witness to the passage of time. Thanks for joining us on this journey through European history. We hope this exploration has given you a deeper appreciation for the complexities and wonders of this incredible continent. Whether you're a history buff or a casual traveler, Europe offers endless opportunities to learn and be inspired. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want more deep dives into world history. Your support helps us bring more fascinating stories from around the globe. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.